Hello and welcome, I am the Sterling and today we'll be playing Going Medieval. In the last episode, we built this Goliath of an entrance, though we've still not been tested with an attack. And I hear with the new update, enemies are now going to actually attack us. And I fear we're not in a position to hold them back. So in this episode, we're going to rectify this. So sit back, grab a cold one and let's get started. Right, so at the moment, my plans are to allow the enemy into the street and stand on this platform and attack them as they come through this door. Now, a lot of people in the comments don't like this idea. They'd rather me defend Ironhold from the front entrance. But I'm sorry to tell you, I'm stubborn and I stand by defending Ironhold from the streets. I like the idea of standing on this platform and attacking the enemy. Though with the way that we've got this set up at the moment they break through these doors, they've got free access to the rest of Ironhold, which is not a good thing. I want to bunch them all up here and just pick them off. So that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be pretty straightforward. Just going to come and grab some greater doors and just put some greater doors in here. That way, even after they break through this door, they'll be trapped in this area here and it will become somewhat of a turkey shoot for our archers up here on the landing. And if this is not sufficient, I can always put more doors elsewhere. And look, later on down the track, if I find that this tactic is just not worth the hassle, then and only then will I revisit the idea of defending Ironhold from up here. But to actually be able to pull that off will involve quite a bit more work to the front, because then we'll actually have to be able to get up to it and make it that the enemy can't just traverse and get up themselves. As I keep saying, this is nothing more than a bit of bling on the front. So now that we've sorted out the front for a moment, now it's on to the next part of the episode. Now I've mentioned that I want to build a brewery here and a stonemason here. Pretty straightforward, except for the brewery. We're going to need a place to store the booze. And as our food storage over here needs to stay nice and chilled, but while we're distilling the booze, we actually need it to be quite warmish. I actually want to build something here where we can raise and lower the temperature according to what it is we're doing. The problem is we've got the crappy little seed shack in the way, and so I want to get rid of that. And I was initially thinking about building something here in the middle for the seed shack, so it's nice and easy access to the farms. But after having a bit of a play with the area, I've come to learn that there's just not enough space in here. And I was thinking, well, I've got to extend the farms anyway. Even if we've got enough farmland for food, we definitely don't have enough room for trees. So the plan for this episode is we're going to extend the farmland out into this area and then build an area to store seeds at the end of it. So you know the drill of how we're going to do this. We're going to take it level by level all the way down. I must also remember not to dig this section down here, as we need to leave it for a wall, but I will be putting pillars in, and I'm going to try and do it all from this section here, as I don't really have room either side. So first of all, I need to just put down a temporary floor, just like so, and then just a couple of staircases. Fantastic. And now we're ready to hit play and let them get to work. And here we go, we're being attacked. It's a decent sized looking army, but they don't seem overly armoured, which that's a good thing. Though on a bit of a negative note, there seems to be quite a few archers among them. You have quite a few over here. Got a javelin thrower, another javelin thrower over here, quite a few among the swimmers. So hopefully now with the new update, we actually get a fight. And here they come. The devs have definitely fixed the game. My word, I hope we're prepared for this. I may be a bit out of practice. It's been a while since we've had a fight. Now we've got the doors at the front open, so the enemy should come straight down to the greater doors below. It's not a good sign. They're just standing around like they usually do. Nope, here they come. They're straight to the front door. Now we must remember we're going to aim for the archers first. Then we can deal with everybody else. And there's one down. down even before they've gotten through the door. And another one. Oh, and that's another one. This is working out quite good at this point. Though one of our settlers has already taken a hit. And here they come, they're through. Now, we're going to make sure that we pick the archers first. Like this bloke here has already thrown a javelin right at us. So here's our first archer we're going to have to go for. And we've got him. So who will be our next victim? Look, they're all lining up for us. There's another one. Let's take him. And that's another one down. It's hard to tell who's who among all this mess of helmets. I see a bow here. There he is. Let's get him. He's a master archer. How are we doing? We've taken a few hits. We're going to have to be a bit careful. And that's another one down. Who else do we have to pick off? So many bows. I'm going to have to target them individually. Let's try and do a timed attack. Now, they've all got their targets. Let's see how we go. Oh, we're still taking some hits. Come on. Garen and Eddie are getting hit. Here's Ball and Lunda. This might have been a mistake. Come on. And they're bloody through. And his ball is down. Sight's going to have to take his place. Come on. Fire. No, we're getting butchered. You. Go. One down. Another one. Another one. Another one. That's another one. Though two of our archers are on the ground, this is not good. We're going to have to get Garen out of there. Send Garen into this room. Now he's conscious again. Fire. Come on. That's another archer down. And another one. And another one's down. We haven't lost anyone yet, but my word, we're bloody close. That's another one. Now we're down to the last two. And that's all the archers. But the enemy is now in the building. We're going to have to move. We're going to bring all our melee out here onto the balcony, and this is where we'll have our final stand. Cheeky bugger, there's another archer. Here. Got him. And they're up the stairs. This isn't good. And the fight begins. Oh no, Lunda's getting hit. No one's died yet, which is a good thing. And we won. Wow, I reckon we got close to dying there. We're not going to take on any prisoners. Now it's just a matter of mopping up the mess, and then we can heal up and get back to work. First day of winter, 1359. And the dig is coming along quite nicely. In the end, I decided to actually take the dig from above. Since I'm already digging out the top, it only made sense. And then once I'm actually down to the bottom level, I'm going to use stairs and all that sort of jazz to then start digging out the rest. But in all honesty, I'm sort of just working it out as I go along. Now, you've probably noticed that I've modified the kill zone down the front. The way we had it during the fight just didn't work. It allowed too many archers into the area. Thus, I couldn't pick them off one by one. And it gave them the ability to just bombard our settlers with arrows. And it almost killed us. A few of our settlers almost died. I honestly thought at one point that they were going to die. And dead set, I reckon if it wasn't for the fact that the fight timed out, yes, we would have lost a couple of settlers. It just became a mess up here. It was ridiculous. They broke through only because the enemy and our settlers can actually walk on top of these merlons. Us standing here with shields, thinking that we could hold back the enemy while we picked them off with crossbows, yeah, didn't work, clearly. So the mistakes were as follows. Too many people could get into this area. Too many archers could pick off our settlers, as I said. Too many melee could get in and break down the doors. And then they had free range to do whatever the hell they wanted wanted. I'm not having that again. So now, as I was saying, I've made the kill zone smaller, less people, and I've doubled up on the doors. Because I had to say no to a new settler. A new settler arrived, and it was just after the fight. Wasn't long. Most of our settlers were still laid out and injured. There was no defending this settler. And so I had to turn them away because we couldn't fight the fight. I know. A lot of you are sitting there going, well, Sterling, it's your own fault. You're trying to fight in the streets. We're all telling you to fight off the front. But I don't want to. I want to fight here. And I'm going to find a way to make this work, even if it costs me the settlers. Nonetheless, hopefully this has solved the problem. I don't see why it wouldn't. Now, good news is, as we're digging this all out, we're digging up gold. There's so much gold about. Obviously, we haven't actually collected any of this gold as of yet because our dogs can't get down to get it. But I'm sure once we hit the bottom and the dogs can get it, we're going to be rolling in gold. Cha-ching for Ironhold. I tell you, if it turns out there's gold in this area, I know where our next mine is. But I should have known there was gold there because on the surface, I just didn't notice it. Because usually I'm looking at it from this angle and I honestly didn't notice all the little golden bits in it. I just thought it was limestone. Well, anyway, let's hit play and let them continue. Fantastic. That's the top layer and the hard part complete. Now we're ready just to start digging down the rest of the layers, which should be nice and quick because now we no longer have to dig out the rest of these big large sections because the layers below, excluding the bottom layer, can just be dug on the outside and then the rest will fall through. The reason why I have to dig these channels is otherwise it's stuck to the roof and it won't fall. Now I've left walls, as you can see, there because these actual pillars in the middle aren't functional yet. So as I start digging down and digging under these pillars, I can just put more limestone underneath without fear of it all collapsing. And then once these pillars are actually functional, I can come back and knock down these walls, which should be pretty straightforward because all I have to do is dig out underneath them and then they'll collapse. Now, before we continue digging out the farmland, there's a couple of things I'd like to unlock in the research tab to help production of food. First one I want to unlock is beekeeping. By unlocking beekeeping, we can build beehives and start producing honey, which all extra food is welcome. It's going to cost 15 chronicles and 10 textbooks. We're going to unlock that now. Done. Now, the other thing I want to unlock is fermenting. As we get plenty of milk coming in, by having a fermenting station, we can then start producing cheese, which accomplish that would be fantastic. And it's cheap. It's only 15 chronicles, so we'll unlock that now. Done. Now the beehives need to be outside but undercover. And we have this little bit of terrain here over the top of the farmland that acts as a bit of a roof. So by me placing 2 beehives down here, it's almost like it was planned. So we'll place 2 here and 2 on the other side. Done. Now once they're up and running, we can start producing honey, and that's an extra bit of food. Now over to the kitchen, and we'll put the fermenting station in just here. Done. Now once that's built, we'll be able to start creating cheese. So now there's nothing left to do but hit play, let them build the beehives, the fermenting station, and then they can get back to work digging. Wow, we've got a new settler. We're definitely going to allow them to join Ironhold. I'd like to introduce you to Abel. Now, I'm just going to go ahead, set up their schedule, manage their equipment, and we're going to make Abel, if able, to be the second cook of Ironhold. Now, I'll take care of all that, and then we can get back to digging. Wow, another new settler. And yes, we're going to take them on as well. I'd like to introduce you to Jacob. You know the drill. I set up his jobs, his schedule, and then in 1 day and 23 hours, we're going to be attacked. Day 4 of autumn, 1360, and we are being attacked. I've been very busy over the last few days and decided to further modify the front entrance, starting with nice and simply adding a couple of extra doors. No doubt what we already had probably would have been enough, but I just wanted to make sure. And it doesn't hurt having extra security. But the doors isn't what I'm talking about. I added a second balcony. Now, honestly, I probably would have preferred to have built the balcony quite a lot higher, though I only had a couple of days to get this in, so this is where the balcony ended up. Same as there's only one entrance at the moment, which is this side over here. I would have preferred there to be an entrance either side so we can escape or whatnot, but as I said, I was short for time, and so I could only produce one entrance. Then when I've got 5 minutes, I can do the other side. That's if I keep it at this height. I might knock this down and go one higher. We'll just see how it goes. I'm happy that I got that in the time frame that I had. The reason why I wanted to double up is because now we've got 10 archers, and I wanted to make sure that all my archers are down the guts, ready to fire. Otherwise, there would have been 6 on the bottom landing and then 2 either side, which the 2 either side aren't doing anything, and so I haven't actually gained anything by having more archers. This way, I can utilize all our archers in one sitting. Now let's get prepared for this fight. And here they come down the stairs, and they're straight to the gate, so that's a good sign. Although Garfield has stopped, or Galfred, whatever his bloody name is. Well, some of them have stopped. Let's see if the rest stop or if they're going to regroup. Nope, they're to the gate. Can we pick them off yet? Doesn't look like we can. Oh, hang on. Nope, we've started. Yes, there's one down already. And they're starting to hit the gate. Yes, that's another one down and another one. This is fantastic. Whoa, almost got them. Hopefully we can get them before they get through this door. Now, I must remember, once they're through the door, I have to start picking the archers off first. Oh, they're regrouping. Yep, they're through the front door. Fire. One archer down. Let's go for this one. And that's another one down. Passy's gotten hit. That's all right. We're just going to keep hitting. Yes, that's another one down. We're doing really well at this point, but I shouldn't go celebrating just yet. There's a heap of enemies still left. Though this seems to be working all right for the moment. Can we get this one over here? Not without us running off. Get back here. Passy's taking a few hits. It's not great. And there's another archer down, which is good. And there's another one down. Though it looks like our archers are just going to stay behind cover and shoot our gates. I might have to add some windows or something so I can actually get to these archers so they can't take cover. But that's a problem for another day. Right now I got to think about what we're doing because Passy's not in a good place. I might have to actually retreat Passy in the moment. And they're on the move. That's another couple down. There's an archer aiming at us. Let's get them quickly. Down. down. Fantastic. Let's get some of these ruthless marauders before they get through the next lot of doors. That's another one down. We better start aiming for these archers. That's another archer down, but they're through our last lot of doors. Passy's unconscious. That's not good. And that's another one down. We're going to need to move Oda. He's getting hit too much. Though everybody on this top balcony seems to be doing all right. I think we're just high enough the enemy archers can't get us. And that's another archer down. And another one is down. And another one. And another one. And another one. Though our settlers are starting to get pretty hurt now, I'm going to have to keep my eye on Thite and Lunda. And that's another one. Surely they don't have too many more archers left. This is a heavy archer. And we won! Fantastic. Nobody died. Oh, I thought that we were going to lose someone, I tell ya. Though I'm glad I put those extra doors in. That made all the difference, I'd say. And this extra balcony. I think maybe it was a combination of everything I did. Now let's mop them up. Yes, got another one before they escaped. That's what I like to see. Let's undraft everybody. We'll pick Passy up off the ground and get him healed up before he dies. And then we can get back to work. Been a couple of days. It was a bit touch and go there for a few of our settlers. Nearly lost a couple. I've now actually had to set up 2 more doctors because every single time we have a fight, the settlers are getting closer and closer to dying. I think in the future, we are going to start losing settlers in a fight because it's not even during the fight. It's after the fight when their health is still dropping and they're bleeding and yeah, it's not great. I haven't even had time to actually pick up all the spoils of war. That's how bad of a position our settlers were in. So this extra balcony did all right. I might even go so far as to put a 3rd one because this balcony here seems to be too low and the enemy seems to be able to get us. Where this one here, we didn't get as injured. Though, in all honesty, no doubt I'm going to need to revisit this entire area. And it might be something as simple as setting up traps further into the entrance. So by the time the enemy actually gets down to the gates, we've already knocked off at least a big portion of their health. Though for the moment, this is the priority. I just have to keep digging this out as we're a little bit over halfway through the dig. So now that everyone's up and about, we're ready to get stuck back into it. Unfortunately though, that's going to have to wait for another episode as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.